So today we're going to learn how to find the adjoint of a 2 by 2 matrix. So let's say we have a matrix A. So the elements in A are A, B, C, D. So the adjoint of A, all we would have to do is swap the A and the D. So we have the D here and the A here. We would not swap the B and the C. We will keep the B and the C. However, we will change the signs. So for instance, if B was positive, when we find the adjoint, it would be negative. If C is negative, when we find the adjoint, it's going to be positive. So let's look at some examples to get an idea of this. So first example, we have matrix S below. What is the adjoint of S? So remember, from what we discussed earlier, if we have a matrix set up like this, where your S is equal to A, B, C, D, will just mean that we swap the A and the D and change the signs of B and C. So in this case, we would say the adjoint of S is equal to, so we swap the 4 and the 7. But then here we would have 7 and here we would have 4. And then we change the signs of the -6 and the +3. So the -6 is going to turn to +6 and the +3 is going to turn to -3. So that's the adjoint of S. So essentially, as you can see here, all we did was swap the 4 and the 7. So 4 and 7 is swapped and we just change the signs of the 3 and the -6. The -6 turned to 6 and the +3 turned to -3. This is our answer. Let's see if you remember the principle of adjoint. So we know that for the adjoint of T, remember what we did earlier, we would swap this here, which is representing the A part, with the D part. So then we would end up having -3 here and 4 here. So it doesn't matter what the sign is, we're just swapping the number itself or the element. Now, with the C and the B, we leave those numbers there, but we change the sign. So if this is -5, it turns to +5. And since this is +8, it turns to -8. So when we look at this now, our adjoint is this. So here we are again. We are trying to figure out the adjoint of E. So we know that these letters again, A, B, C, D. So for the adjoint of E, what we will do is swap the 17 and the 4. Remember, we always swap the A and D. So the 4 would come here where the A was and the 17 would go here, regardless of whatever sign it was. However, when it comes to the B and the C, we keep them, but we change the sign. So in this case, we have -5, which will turn to +5, and we have -2, which will turn to +2. So our adjoint for E is this. Let's look at one more. Let's put an interesting twist on this now. We're going to use letters, but it's going to be the same concept. So for the adjoint here of N, what we will end up doing is, remember, we swap the -J and the K, because those represents our A and our D. So then the K would come here and the -J would go here. However, for this part here, all we do is change the sign. So if this is R, it turns to -R, and this -P would turn to P. So this is how we do the adjoint of a 2 by 2 matrix, which will be something that becomes important for us when we're trying to find the inverse of a matrix, ultimately use that to solve simultaneous equations and other important aspects of matrices. So hopefully you have this done back. Keep working hard, keep trying your best to get better and grow in mathematics. Remember, mathematics is all about practice. The more you practice, the more you repeat, you get better and better and grow. So continue to do that. Remember, this ain't no play man thing. Be smooth.